New Year. Happy New Year and welcome. Here we are, January 24th, fourth Sunday of the month of San Diego Rose Club at 11:05 a.m. It's January 24th, and this is the 24th assembly ever at Sunday San Diego. Thank you very much for being here today. So glad to have you all here today. Before we get started, I want to make sure everybody knows there's a media-free zone, so we are recording this event. If you do not want to be videotaped or photographed, please take a seat in that area, and we'll make sure that does not happen. I'm going to turn it right over to the first song we're going to start with is Rock Around the Clock.
Where's my singers?
His comments. Get the singers up here. Come on up. And I am going to welcome the one and only Ebola, Paul Svensson.
Good morning, happy campers. How's everybody? Happy New Year. We're in San Diego. We could be in Detroit or Boston or somewhere with a lot of snow and stuff. We're not. We're here. You know what we're going to do? We're going to get up and we're going to sing this old song, which is really fun. Now, I just want to be sure that we don't have just a whole bunch of us standing here not moving around, so let's get a little bit. Hey, you know the song? You guys know the song? 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, rock. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, rock. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. All right. Okay, now wait a minute. Everybody is standing still. Come on. Haven't you seen the video of this song? All the happy kids all dancing all night long. Pretend you're that for a minute. 1, 2, 3, and 4. When the dance slows down, we'll yell for more. Right by 6 and 7, we'll be right in 7. I'm gonna play the saxophone solo now. Maxwell will cool off and rocking around the clock again. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. One more. We're gonna rock around the clock
Great song to start with. Thank you. Nice and rousing. Well, welcome everybody to Sunday Assembly. Sunday Assembly is a secular congregation that meets monthly to hear great talks, to share in community events, to sing songs, and enjoy snacks afterwards. The theme for Sunday Assembly is live better, help often, and wonder more. And how, by a show of hands, how many of you, this is your first time here to Sunday Assembly? Let's give those people a high five. Welcome. So glad to have you here. Thank you so much. Before we get too far into the program, I want to let you know that we do have a kids zone right outside. You can watch children 1.5 and up, and that's every Sunday Assembly. So bring the family. You're welcome to, kids are welcome to sit in here also, and we love having everybody here. Gosh, my goodness, what a great way to start the year. So glad that you're all here. We do a thing called Life Happens. So those of you that are here, we'd like to hear some of the things that are happening in your life. You just fill out a little 3x5 card when you come in. Like you don't know what a 3x5 card looks like. So that was a visual representation. So I'm going to read through these. So it's the 61st birthday, January 30th, for Elizabeth. Happy early birthday. You had one last year. It's about the same time, didn't you? So I kind of remember that. We celebrated our 12th wedding anniversary in December. That's Candelario and Alicia. Congratulations. Awesome. Our oldest son is getting married in Virginia next month. All the family is going to be able to go, so we're happily, the schedule's worked out. That's Mark and Amy. Fantastic. Wow. So great to have family together. And this one says, I enjoyed a family reunion yesterday, November 21st, 2015, so that's when that happened, I think. And they say, if your phone shuts off, don't panic. Turn off Wi-Fi roaming and enjoy the company of family. That's awesome. Love that one. We're going to start off the theme for every Sunday Assembly. Every Sunday Assembly has a theme. The theme for this Sunday Assembly is time, which is perfect for the new year. We're going to start off with a reading by Wade Conklin, who's going to read from Woody Guthrie's 1943 New Year's Rulings.
All right, dream good, Woody Guthrie, New Year's resolution list, 1942. 1, work more and better, work by a schedule, wash teeth, if any, shave, take a bath, eat good fruit, vegetables, milk, drink very scant, if any, write a song a day, wear clean clothes, look good, shine shoes, change socks, change bedclothes often, read lots good books, listen to radio a lot, learn people better, keep Rancho clean, don't get lonesome, stay glad, keep hopping machine running, dream good, bank all extra money, save dough, have company, but don't waste time, send marrying kids money, play and sing good, dance better, help win war, beat fascism, love mama, love papa, love Pete, that would be Seeger, love everybody, make up your mind, wake up and fight.
Thank you boys very much. That's awesome. I love to see the doodles that people make. That was like awesome to see Woody Guthrie's cool doodles. We have a speaker every Sunday Assembly. Our speaker today is Dr. Sally Sadoff. She's an assistant professor of economics and strategy at the Rady School of Management at UCSD. Dr. Sadoff's research in applied microeconomics is focused on behavioral economics, experimental economics, labor, and human capital. And prior to coming to the Rady Schools, Dr. Sadoff was a postdoctoral scholar at the University of Chicago. We're so proud to have her here, Dr. Sadoff.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. And actually, that was the perfect introduction because basically what I'm going to talk about today is how we make all these resolutions about what we plan to do, and then somehow they don't happen. So I'm a behavioral economist, which basically, as said, I went to the University of Chicago, and if you guys don't know, the University of Chicago is kind of the extreme of economics. They think that that all people are just like, think how economists think, which is that they know themselves perfectly, they know what they want to do now, tomorrow, the next day, and for the rest of their lives, and they plan perfectly, and all of that happens, and you make optimal decisions, and your life works out perfectly. So I sat in grad school and I said, okay, I do not think like this, I do not behave like this, I, put things off that I want to do, I don't meet my goals, I don't plan perfectly, I make all these mistakes, and I think people think and behave more like me than like the math nerd sitting next to me. So I became a behavioral economist, and I started studying questions about, why do people seem to have these problems? Why, for instance, do we think that in our economy, everyone should graduate from high school? Because if you don't graduate from high school, your chances of ending up in jail are almost as high as your chances of having a job. Why don't people sign up for their 401k even though their employer is kicking in half the money? Why do we sign up for the gym and pay our monthly membership but don't actually go? Why do we put all these documentaries and foreign films in our Netflix queue, but then when we actually choose a movie, it's the rom-com or the action flick? So, you know, the really important questions in our lives. And the answer that behavioral economists came to is that all these questions have something in common, which is time. That what you want to do for yourself tomorrow might be different than what yourself tomorrow decides to actually do. There's a conflict between your long-term self and your short-term self. So you have all these long-term goals, plan to eat better, sign up for the plan, but I'll do it tomorrow. And when you get to tomorrow, that person says, you know what, no, I'll do it tomorrow, and you keep putting it off. So the question is, how can you get your long-term self and your short-term self to line up a little bit better, to make better decisions for yourself? How can you help yourself meet these goals? And to think about these questions, I run experiments. So I'll just give a couple examples today of the kinds of things we've done. The one experiment we ran was among a group of low-income adults in what's called a food desert, so a neighborhood that doesn't have a lot of access to grocery stores or fresh food. And there was a local neighborhood store that started up offering people more access to food, but what they found is even when they gave people access to fresh fruits and vegetables, people weren't necessarily buying them. And there's a lot of reasons why this might be, but one question we wanted to ask ourselves, is it because of this conflict between wanting to eat healthier, but you show up at the grocery store and I'm kind of hungry and I just want that candy bar right now, and you buy that instead of the things that are on your grocery list. So the way we tested this is we offered all of these adults a free basket with $10 worth of food that we would deliver to their house the following week. And we said, okay, here's a list of 20 foods, and you can put in any 10 items that you want. And half the foods were fresh fruits and vegetables, like bananas, apples, grapes, and the other half were basically junk food, Snickers bars, Doritos, cookies, candy, that kind of thing. And people picked any 10 items they wanted, or, you know, it could be the same item, 10 apples, and so on. And people chose pretty healthy baskets, but there was a lot of mix. And then the next week, right before we came to deliver their food, we called them and we said, okay, you know, we're showing up tomorrow, just want to make sure you're going to be there. And then the next day we came to their door and we said, okay, here's your basket that you chose next week. So this is what their previous week self wanted their next week self to eat. And we said, oh, but surprise, by the way, if you want to make any substitutions, here's some things that you said last week that you liked that you can switch out. So we had 2 healthy items and 2 unhealthy items. And we said, okay, you can make any switch you want. And you know, oh, if you want. So we didn't tell people what to do, but what we found is that people tend to say, oh, you know what? That apple I said I wanted last week, I'm going to switch it out for that bag of Doritos. And we found that systematically, when faced with that temptation of the unhealthy food, people tended to switch out the healthy items for the unhealthy items, showing that there was this, what we call inconsistency between their long-term self that wanted them to eat healthy and the short-term self that, when faced with temptation, gave into it. So then the question is, okay, well, what can you do about this? So the second week, we repeated what we had done. We said, okay, we're going to come back next week. You know, tell us again what you want in your basket, and people chose the items again, and pretty much they chose very similar items. And this time, though, when we called them the day before to confirm that they would be there, we said, okay, remember last week we brought those extra items? If you want, we don't have to bring them. And this is what we call a commitment device. We say, you know, if we don't bring those items, that means that you are committing to stick to your long-term choice. You're not gonna let yourself face that temptation you did the week before. And what we find is that about a third of people say, yeah, you know what, don't bring me those items. I just want to stick with my original choice. I don't want to have to face these tempting choices that I might give into and switch out the apple for the candy bar. And we see these kinds of commitment devices in a lot of different areas. Sort of a famous one is, I think maybe an economist did this, I'm not sure if it was, or somebody who wanted to quit smoking. And he gave his friend a $5,000 check, and he said, if I ever have another cigarette, send this check to the KKK. So it was this way of imposing a cost on his future self that would be tempted to smoke. I heard my student told me the other day that on the Economist podcast, Steve Levitt, who I work with, had said, you know, what people who want to quit smoking should do is wear a little jar of vomit around their neck, and if you ever want to have a cigarette, you open it up and take a sniff. So these are ways to, your long-term self to basically commit your short-term self to doing the behavior that will help you meet your long-term goals. But there's a challenge with these, which is your short-term self can undo these commitment devices. If I actually have the cigarette, maybe I'll tell my friend, okay, never mind, don't actually send it to the KKK, or I feel like a cigarette, I'm not going to open this jar of vomit. So commitment devices can be a little bit tricky. You have to find ways to make them both strong enough and weak enough to give yourself enough flexibility. Because if someone told me, you have to watch 12 Years a Slave on Friday, you put it in your Netflix queue, you have to watch it. Well, maybe on Friday I really don't feel like watching it. I want to watch it eventually, but right now I'm really in the mood to just watch a fun, relaxing movie. So this is kind of the challenge with commitment devices, and I think something you guys might talk about afterwards is what's kind of the right way to design them? Should they be imposed by yourself, by your friends, by your parents, by policymakers? So something to kind of think about. So there's kind of two approaches. One is to kind of put this cost, like this $5,000 check to the KKK. Another is to just try to avoid temptation by restricting your choices. So just don't bring me the basket, lock up the cookies in the cabinet, things like that. Another way that we've thought about trying to make people's long-term behavior line up with their short-term goals is to try to bring the rewards of that long-term behavior closer, because the reason people have this conflict is because in the short term, you're responding to what you feel immediately, and what you're going to benefit from in the long term feels farther away, and it's harder to tap into. So I actually became an economist because I was interested in closing achievement gaps among low-income students. So I actually taught school up in the Bay Area for a while, and I was a very bad teacher. I tell teachers, those who can't teach, those who can't teach go to graduate school, study education. Telling a third grader, oh, you should do your homework now, because the marginal impact on your discounted present value of your salary in 15 years is 10%. And of course, this is how we all get our kids to do the things we want. So, I think that we understand intuitively that that's not how kids, make decisions. That, 20 years, next week is far away, let alone 20 years from now. And for the most part, parents kind of nudge their kids to do the behaviors they want. But it's in a lot of the areas where I work, parents don't necessarily have the tools or the resources to do this. And so we came in and said, okay, what can we do to try to help kids understand the benefits of engaging in school, putting more effort into school that's more immediate to them, something that kids will respond to. So basically, because we're economists, the first thing we think of is incentives and basically bribing kids to do well. So we came in and we tried a program where we offer kids incentives to do well. And instead of the incentives being, getting a job in 10 years, it's $50 at the end of the month. We said, okay, if you get a C in all of your classes, don't get suspended, don't have more than one unexcused absence, at the end of the month we'll give you $50. And to give you an idea of the environment we're in, less than 30% of kids were meeting this standard at baseline. So, less than 30% of kids are getting C's in their classes. And what we found is that if we offered kids this incentive, we could get them to do a little bit better. About 5% of kids started passing their classes because of the incentive. So it's a little bump, not a huge one. And we couldn't understand. I mean, these are 15-year-old kids. $50 seems like a lot of money. But for them, even the end of the month was too far to plan ahead. So I would say to a kid, all you had to do was go to detention so you didn't get suspended. And they said, oh yeah, right, okay, yeah, I'll try next month. It just wasn't connecting for them. So we said, okay, we gotta get it even closer. So then we went to students and they sat down for a test that they already took as part of school. And we said, okay, if you do better on this test than you did the last time you took it, we will give you this reward and you'll get it right after you're done with the test immediately. So the reward was either cash, $10, $20, or among younger kids, we gave them a trophy. And for some kids, we did something, another insight from behavioral economics is that people will work harder for something if they have it already in their hand than if you're offering it to them. So for some kids, we said, oh, here's your trophy. This is yours. Yeah, yeah. Oh, except if you don't improve, we're taking it away. And that works really well. I mean, but I know we sound so cool, but if it gets them to work harder, right? So, but I'm happy to talk about that. That's another area of my research that if anyone's interested in this area, it's called loss aversion. Trying to tap into that. I can talk to you about it afterwards. So what we did is we offered this immediate reward, and we saw huge jumps in performance. So on this test, that kids, they didn't know about it in advance, so they couldn't study harder or learn anything. It's just trying harder. We saw jumps that were equivalent to 5 to 6 months worth of learning. So first of all, kids are not trying on the test at all at baseline. And if they have some very small incentive, they'll actually put some effort in, and you'll see, oh, you know what, these kids know a lot more than we think they do. So that's another lesson we took from this. But if we told them, oh, here's your reward, but we'll give it to you in a month, nothing, right? So just the difference between now and a month, or now and tomorrow, or now and next week, is a big difference, especially among kids and adolescents, but I think for adults too. And this is a real challenge because school, which we think is so important for kids to invest in, the rewards are so removed for kids. And how to motivate kids that are undermotivated to invest in school is really a hard question that we're trying to think more about. We certainly haven't found the answer. And to just give you an idea of the challenges we face in terms of us trying to motivate kids and compete against these immediate desires and rewards. I brought a little short video clip. The work we did offering high school students $50 incentives is actually followed by documentary makers that were making a film about Freakonomics. Maybe some of you know this book by Steve Levitt and his co-author Steve Dubner, talking about some of his research, and this was co-authored with Steve. So if anybody wants to see it, it's a documentary on Netflix that you can put in your queue. I'm sure you'll all go home and watch it immediately. I'm available for questions. I might have some extra time, but I don't know how you guys want to do it. Okay. So are you going to your teachers and asking if you can make up the missing assignments?
Yeah, they're actually making a list for me right now.
Oh, that's great. So you're going to try to make those up?
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you turn in missing assignments, you can bring up your grade a lot because you go from having no credit for the assignment to getting some credit or maybe even a lot of credit, and that can make your grade bounce up a lot.
Yeah.
So are you going to be getting those $50 this month?
If I do my best, yeah.
Are you going to be doing your best?
Yeah.
Alright, that's what I'd like to hear.
Alright, take care. Have a good day.
Alright, you too, bye.
Bye.
What? Go duct tape 'em.
So yeah, that was me trying to encourage it. You may not be surprised. He did not earn the $50 incentive that one. So yeah, I think that's everything. But I mean, I'll be around and I'm happy to talk to people more about this kind of work.
Thank you very much. That was excellent. We're going to have what we've done this at Sunday Assembly a few times, so this isn't something we do every time, but we're going to have a breakout session. And there are a lot of people here. So we have, how many spaces on the floor there, Neil? 14, 13? Okay, so there may be some chairs that need to be moved here, and we actually, why don't we locate some of these back up here? What do you think? We'll locate some of these up here. So here's what we're doing. Do you have the questions up here? So here's how a breakout session works, is you just find a group. There'll be one organizer in each group. And to try to space yourself out and break out, go with somebody that you don't know. These are the two questions we'll be discussing this time. So have you ever used a commitment device, which Sally talked about, and how did that work for you? And then is it ever appropriate for these commitment devices to be imposed by someone else, like a parent, employer, or policymaker? So the numbers are on the floor in the back here, and there's going to be some numbers in here. So break out. Yeah, good point. This is, we're going to spend about 5 minutes on this, and then that always goes to about 8 minutes, so we'll call it that. Thank you. All right, everybody, it's that time. Let's get back to Sunday Assembly. Take your seats, if you will. We will reconvene at snack time. Right before I take you back to our inimitable song leader, I would like to let you know that Neilani found this piece of jewelry. Do we have any takers on that?
Somebody.
That is someone's. Okay, it's right up here for you to come claim. We'll turn out the lights. All right, right over to Paul. Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper.
Come singers. Okay, now just because we have Alex and Leah who have volunteered to be up here and help me lead singing, because it's fun. So anybody who would like to come up and help me lead singing, you can do a self-audition. Okay? This is where you hold a mirror about a half an inch from your nose and see if you're breathing. If you can fog a mirror, you could be in the song leading group. You don't have to be good, you just have to be enthusiastic, okay? And if you're interested in coming up and hanging out, we even have cool folders. Show them the folders. I mean, is that slick or what, right? Because it's really, it's just fun. Is it fun? It's fun, right? Fun. So these guys are hanging out, and so if you want to do that with us and you want to be really organized about it, you can give me your email address after the assembly, and I'll be sure and email you the songs that we're going to do and links to them so you can listen. Or if you want to just show up and fake it, 10:15, we go through the songs, okay? So really, seriously, and I mean, you don't have to be good, you have to be here. You have to be alive, okay? Song Leading 101, show up. That's it.
It's nothing new. Flash.
5-6. Well done. So we have at Sunday Assembly, every Sunday Assembly, a personal moment. Now this could be anything that happened out in your life that you'd like to share, preferably something interesting. We've heard some great stories. Some of them have been funny. Some of them have been very, very poignant. And today we're going to hear from who? Ike Ellis.
So I served a Mormon mission 20 years ago. So I was 19. And when you first start your mission, they give you a little white pamphlet. It's like 70 pages. They call it the White Bible. And in that book, it covers everything. Like wake up at 6:30, do an hour of personal study, do an hour of study with your companion, sing a song, pray, be out the door by 9:30, work all day, come back by 9:30 p.m., clean up your apartment, take a shower, go to bed, don't date, don't be alone with a woman, don't swim, don't drink coffee. Like there's a million things, right? It covers everything. Here's how you ride your bike, here's how you wear your helmet, here's everything, right? Wear a white shirt. And so when I got this pamphlet, this white Bible, I thought it was divine. And I committed myself that if I were going to be the best missionary since Paul the Apostle, that it was critically important that I took all these rules and just internalized them and make sure that I was just exact in these rules. And I did that. And it actually worked. Like, as far as like making me a high baptizing missionary, or effective, or like, and then I get leadership positions, and I train, and I would like get these awards that are meaningless, but I thought they had value. And like, I did everything perfect, and then I got rewarded for it, and my ego inflated because I thought I was a great missionary. And I was already kind of prone to having a big ego, and so it didn't really do anybody any favors. And so, like in the field, I would be, maybe giving a discussion, or maybe I would be trying to get something accomplished. And I would think to myself, because you're two people, right? So I'd be with my companion, and I would say, well, surely I'm the better one to do this part, right? Like, because I know more and I obey the rules, and he's kind of lazy. I'm definitely going to do this part, right? And then I get leadership positions, and a lot of leadership positions, and I would treat other people that way. Like, oh, those missionaries are good, but really I should step in and do this hard part because, I'm the best one for the job. But I was also like one of the highest baptizing missionaries in the field. So in some regard, I might have been right about that. So I'd been serving for 20 months, and I was assigned to a brand new area in southern Illinois. It was a 3-hour minivan ride to southern Illinois. And I was ending my mission. And I was reflecting on my life as a missionary with regret. Because I realized that even though externally I had all this achievement related to my obedience, really I didn't really have any friends. And my companions, if you'd asked them, they probably would have told you they universally disliked me, right? Because I took that like high standard that I lived myself by, and I would say like, come on man, it's 6:35, you need to wake up, come on, you gotta wake up, right? Nobody wants to hear that, right? Come on, we gotta like get out and work. Come on, let's go work. And I'm like, I just wanna like hang out for a second. No, come on, out the door, let's go work, right? And then in leadership positions, I was the same way with other people, right? That kind of like hyper-judgmental, right? And I knew this was a problem my whole mission, right? So I would like read Dale Carnegie books, I would ask my leaders, I would like try to figure out from all these people, like, come on, tell me the secret to like make these guys like me and be, better than they are, because they're terrible. So, and they would try to help, but like nothing worked. And I was really depressed. In this minivan ride down south, I was getting depressed. I was looking at, reflecting, and I said, I'm gonna like ignore all the rules. Which, by the way, was a very hard decision to come to. But I just said, I'm gonna ignore every single rule in this book. And instead of trying to like imprint my brand of being a missionary on all these guys, instead, I'm gonna figure out what they want out of life. And I'm just gonna support them in it. In effect, what I was deciding to do was I was gonna love them. And I was going to make their values my values, rather than the other way around. And so, what would happen is they'd sleep in, but they would have breakfast waiting for them at 8 a.m. when they woke up, right? Or they would hey, I just want to go play pool. And I'd say, oh, I guess I better learn to chalk a cube, right? Let's go play pool. I don't care, right? I would do what they wanted to do more than what I wanted to do. And then as they realized that I loved them, they would trust me. They would ask me questions. They would say hey, I've got this problem. What should I do about that? And I would well, look, I'm just here to help. If you want to do something, maybe try this. And they would start doing that. And what would happen is that these guys started bonding with me. And they started maybe listening to me in a way I'd never been listened to before. And they had a great time. I had a great time, they had a great time, and we built this brotherhood that was very intoxicating and attractive and fun. And I was super grateful that when I left my mission, these guys cried that I was leaving, right? And I started this leadership position, I had 8 people, and when I left, there were 16 people. Other people wanted to kind of join in and be part of this, right? Because they knew we were having a great time and we were being effective, and everybody was having, really strong friendships. And the reason why I share that story with you is not to tell you how great a mission is or how bad it is. I share it with you because I've learned that often rules get in the way of true human connection. And we have all these rules in our head. We say things oh, that guy lives with his parents. I don't want to hang out with him. Or that girl wears white after Labor Day. Or that guy still works at Burger King. Or that girl has a cocaine problem. Or that guy is a commitment phobe. Or that girl doesn't own a car. Or that guy's a Republican. Or that girl's gay. Or whatever it is, right? We make these rules in our head where we categorize people. And those rules, for me, I'm willing to throw all of those rules out in favor of love. One of my favorite movies is Almost Famous, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's character in that movie, he said, the only currency we have in this bankrupt world is what we share between friends when we're uncool. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was wonderful. We have, in every Sunday assembly, a moment of reflection. I won't call it silent reflection because we'll hear the kids out inside. But this time, I'd like to do something a little bit different before we start our minute of reflection, which is just to breathe together. I'd like you to we'll take 3 deep breaths together. And when we take the deep breath in, just find some of that tension in your body, and on the breath out, just let it out, if you would. So take the moment to do that. Breathe in. Let it out. Breathe in. Letting it go. One last breath, a minute of reflection. One minute of our lives spent together. A minute's a long time. It can seem like a long time. The theme for today is time, and we heard from Dr. Sadoff about time management and some commitment devices. And I talked about a time in his life, and Boyd talked about Woody Guthrie marking time in 1943. Whatever you think about time, however you perceive it, if you feel, as Albert Einstein did at the end of his life, that time was an illusion, though he said a very convincing one. Or however you conceive it to be, whether you think you can go backwards and forwards in time. The fact is, our experience of time is always in the present. That's how we experience time. That's the only way we experience time. And I don't want to talk about the present, but I'd like to talk about being present, which is being here now, fully aware of what's happening around you while it's happening. And I think some of these things are best described with a visual display. So I'm going to use for the very first time this new holographic virtual display that we got. It's very, very nice. Of course, we don't have one. Paul said he put this in post-production, but humor me. This is going to be very nice. Edit that part out. Okay, so what we have here, let me fire this up here, and I'm going to pick this blue color right there, and I'll put this as a bar graph, and I'm going to send that on down. This is going to represent time into infinity, time immemorium, and you see it starts at now, but did you see how now is moving a little bit that way all the time? Time continues to go on. I'm going to make this bar graph. I'm going to send this all the way out into infinity there. You see that there? That bounced off the wall. I wasn't actually expecting that. That's surprising. I didn't know how this thing worked. Okay, so I'm also going to take this nice burnt orange color right there, and I'm going to make this. This is my life right here. I'm going to start from now, and I'm going to run that all the way back to 1960, 55 years. I'm going to move these down here, and I'd like to take that, and I'm going to take that 55 times 365. Did I write that the right way? That was backwards to me. I'm going to multiply that, and as you can see, that equals 2,075. Move that up. There, move that up right there. I'm going to add on 13 days plus, that's for the leap years, of course.